Khabib Abdulmanapovich Nurmagomedov is a Russian former professional mixed martial artist. He competed in the lightweight division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, where he was the longest reigning UFC lightweight champion, having held the title from April 2018 to March 2021. Nurmagomedov was inducted into UFC Hall of Fame on June 30, 2022. With 29 wins and no losses, he retired with an undefeated record. A two-time combat sambo world champion, Nurmagomedov has a background in the disciplines of sambo, judo, and wrestling. Nurmagomedov was ranked number 1 in the UFC men's pound-for-pound rankings at the time of his retirement, until being removed following his title vacation in March 2021. Fight Matrix ranks him as the number 1 lightweight of all time. Coming from the Republic of Dagestan in Russia, Nurmagomedov is the first Muslim to win a UFC title. He is the most followed Russian on Instagram, with more than 33 million followers as of February 2022. He is also a mixed martial arts promoter, known for promoting the Eagle Fighting Championship. Since retirement, he has transitioned to a mixed martial arts coach and cornerman. Early life. Khabib Abdulmanapovich Nurmagomedov was born to an Avar family on September 20, 1988, in the village of Sildi in the Tsumadinsky district of the Dagestan ASSR, an autonomous republic within the Russian SFSR, Soviet Union. He has an older brother, Magomed, and younger sister, Amina. His father's family had moved from Sildi to Kiroval, where his father converted the ground floor of their 2-story building into a gym. Nurmagomedov grew up in the household with his siblings and cousins. His interest in martial arts began when watching students training at the gym. Khabib's training as a child included wrestling a bear when he was 9 years old. As is common with many children in Dagestan, he began wrestling from an early age. He started at the age of 8 under the tutelage of his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. A decorated athlete and a veteran of the Soviet Army, Abdulmanap had also wrestled from an early age, before undergoing training in judo and sambo in the military. Abdulmanap dedicated his life to coaching the youth in Dagestan, in hopes of offering an alternative to the Islamic extremism common to the region. In 2001, his family moved to Makhachkala, the capital of Dagestan, where he trained in wrestling from the age of 12, and judo from 15. He resumed training in combat sambo, under his father, at 17. According to Nurmagomedov, the transition from wrestling to judo was difficult, but his father wanted him to get used to competing in a GI jacket. Abdulmanap was a senior coach for the combat sambo national team in the Republic of Dagestan, training several athletes in sambo in Makhachkala, Russia. Nurmagomedov frequently got into street fights in his youth, before focusing his attention on mixed martial arts. Khabib said that, along with his father, 3 athletes who inspired him were the American boxers Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and the Brazilian footballer Ronaldo. Mixed martial arts career. Early career. Nurmagomedov made his professional MMA debut in September 2008 and compiled 4 wins in under a month. On October 11, he became the inaugural Atrium Cup tournament champion, having defeated his 3 opponents at the Moscow event. Over the next 3 years, he went undefeated, finishing 11 out of 12 opponents. These included a first-round armbar finish of future Bellator title challenger Shabula Chamkhalov, which marked his M1 global debut. In 2011, he competed in 7 fights for the Pro FC promotion, all of which he won by TKO or submission. A 16-0 record in the regional circuits of Russia and Ukraine generated interest from the Ultimate Fighting Championship in signing Nurmagomedov. Later, Nurmagomedov's father revealed in an interview that due to a contract dispute with Pro FC they had 11 court cases contesting the legitimacy of Nurmagomedov's UFC contract. After losing 6 and winning 5 cases, they reached an agreement and Khabib was able to continue his career. Ultimate Fighting Championship. Early UFC fights and championship pursuits. UFC Lightweight Champion. Nurmagomedov vs Yaquinta. Nurmagomedov vs McGregor. Nurmagomedov vs Poirier. Nurmagomedov vs Gaethje. Retirement and vacation of the UFC Lightweight Championship. Despite attempted negotiations to bring him back for one more fight, UFC President Dana White announced on March 19, 2021 that he had accepted Nurmagomedov's decision to retire and that the UFC Lightweight Championship had been officially vacated. On July 1, 2022, Nurmagomedov was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame on the International Fight Week in Las Vegas. MMA promoter. Following his retirement, Nurmagomedov purchased the Guerrilla Fighting Championship, a Russian-based MMA promotion, for $1 million, going on to rename it as the Eagle Fighting Championship. MMA coach and cornerman. Since retiring in October 2020, Nurmagomedov has been an active coach with American Kickboxing Academy head coach Javier Mendez. He currently coaches and corners current UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, Zubair Tukhugov, Tagir Ulanbekov, Islam Mamedov, Gadzira Baydanov, Sajid Isagakimov, and cousins Abubakar Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, Usman Nurmagomedov, and Belal Muhammad at UFC 280. Fighting style. Nurmagomedov employs a wrestling-based style of relentless pressure against his opponents, often described as mauling. Using a variety of wrestling and judo/sambo takedowns, he forces his opponents against the cage, and locks up their legs and an arm to prevent them from escaping. From this position, he exhausts his opponents by forcing his weight against them and attacks with measured strikes his opponents are often unable to defend. This was one of his many signature styles that he used to deploy to advance towards his finishing move. Throughout his career, 19 of his 29 victories had come by way of either TKO/KO or submission. Former 3-time UFC heavyweight champion and 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion Randy Couture praised Nurmagomedov as brilliant. MMA commentator Joe Rogan, a black belt in both 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, said of Nurmagomedov, "He's the most terrifying lightweight contender in the world, and he's just on such another level that the odds of beating him drop significantly after the first minute and a half." UFC referee Herb Dean stated Nurmagomedov constantly talks to his opponents during fights. Personal life. As part of his Dagestani Avar culture, Nurmagomedov frequently wears a papaka hat after fights and during promotional events. He speaks several languages, including Avar, Russian, English, Turkish, and Arabic. As of 2019, Nurmagomedov is a third-year student at the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics. He is an avid football fan and supporter of the clubs ANZ Makhachkala, Galatasaray, Real Madrid, and Liverpool, as well as the Russian national team. In August 2021, there was speculations going round that Nurmagomedov had signed a professional football contract with third-tier Russian side Legion Dynamo after he was seen shaking hands with the players and manager. However, a few days later Nurmagomedov denied he had signed a professional contract, instead saying he is very close to the club and just a fan. Nurmagomedov is a Sunni Muslim. In October 2020, The Guardian stated that Nurmagomedov is the second most popular Muslim athlete in the world, behind only the Egyptian footballer Mohamed Salah. The Guardian additionally stated that, since his high-profile victory over McGregor, Nurmagomedov has used his influential status to further his ultra-conservative worldview. In 2018, Nurmagomedov advocated a crackdown on nightclubs in his home region of Dagestan, and leveled criticism at a rap concert held in Makhachkala, which led to rapper Edgar Creed cancelling his performances in the region. In 2019, Nurmagomedov spoke out against a play held in Dagestan that featured a scene of a scantily clad woman seducing a man. He described the play as filth, recommended that there be a governmental investigation into its production, and called for those involved to issue a public apology, which allegedly led to the producer of the play receiving threats on social media. In October 2020, Nurmagomedov criticized the President of France Emmanuel Macron in the wake of the murder of Samuel Paty, stating, "May the Almighty disfigure the face of this creature and all its followers, who, under the slogan of freedom of speech, offend the feelings of more than 1.5 billion Muslim believers. May the Almighty humiliate them in this life, and in the next." Nurmagomedov has trained with SC Bazarganova in Kyzyl-Yurt, Dagestan, K-Dojo, AMA Fight Club in Fairfield, New Jersey, Mamishev Fight Team in St. Petersburg, Fight Spirit Team in Kolpino, St. Petersburg, and KHK MMA Team in Bahrain, which was funded by Bahraini Prince Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. In 2016, Nurmagomedov co-founded his own team, Eagles MMA, with support from the Dagestani billionaire Ziavuddin Magomedov. After Magomedov was arrested on charges of embezzlement in 2018, Nurmagomedov used his post-fight speech at UFC 223 to appeal to Russian President Vladimir Putin for Magomedov's release from jail. Nurmagomedov has also hosted a training seminar at the Akhmat MMA Fight Club that is funded by head of the Chechen Republic Ramzan Kadyrov, who has received criticism from some quarters for his government's alleged human rights abuses. In December 2021, Nurmagomedov's manager Ali Abdulaziz publicly offered former UFC rival Tony Ferguson a grappling match against Nurmagomedov. Family. Nurmagomedov married Padmat in June 2013 and they have 3 children, a daughter born June 1, 2015, a son born December 30, 2017, and a son born on December 22, 2019. The first son was named Magomed, after Khabib's great-grandfather. Among Nurmagomedov's cousins are fellow UFC fighters Abubakar Nurmagomedov and Umar Nurmagomedov, and Bellator fighter Usman Nurmagomedov. In May 2020, Nurmagomedov's father and longtime trainer Abdulmanap was placed in a medically induced coma after contracting COVID-19 following a heart surgery. He died on July 3, 2020 at a clinic in Moscow, at the age of 57. Awards. In October 2018, Nurmagomedov was made an honorary citizen of Grozny by the mayor of Grozny Ibrahim Zakriv after his victory against McGregor at UFC 229. He was also presented with a Mercedes car by Chechnya's head Ramzan Kadyrov, funded from the Akhmat Kadyrov Foundation, and his father Abdulmanap was awarded the title of Honored Worker of Physical Culture of the Chechen Republic by Kadyrov. On December 5, 2019, head of the Republic of Dagestan Vladimir Vasilyev awarded Nurmagomedov and his father, Abdulmanap, the Order for Services to the Republic of Dagestan for their significant contributions to sports in Dagestan. Controversies. Bus attack at UFC 223 Media Day. On April 3, 2018, Nurmagomedov and fellow fighter Artem Lobov had an altercation, in which Nurmagomedov and his entourage cornered Lobov and slapped him multiple times. Lobov is known to be close to Conor McGregor, with whom Nurmagomedov had verbal altercations and trash talk exchanges. 2 days later, during promotional appearances for UFC 223, McGregor and his entourage were let into the Barclays Center by credentialed members of his promotional team. They confronted Nurmagomedov, who was on a bus leaving the arena with other Red Corner fighters for UFC 223 on board, including Rose Namajunas, Al Yaquinta, Carolina Kawakiuas, Ray Borg, and Michael Chisa. McGregor ran up alongside the slowly moving bus and then ran past it to grab a metal equipment dolly, which he threw at the bus's window, before trying to throw other objects in the vicinity. Chiesa and Borg were injured by the shattered glass, and sent to hospital. They were soon removed from the card on the advice of the NSAC and the UFC's medical team. McGregor and others involved initially fled the Barclays Center after the incident. UFC President Dana White said there was a warrant out for McGregor's arrest, and the NYPD said McGregor was a person of interest. White claimed McGregor told him via text message, "This had to be done." White said, "You can imagine he's going to be sued beyond belief," and denied suggestions that the violence was a stunt intended to generate interest in the UFC. McGregor later turned himself into a police station, where he faced 3 counts of assault and 1 count of criminal mischief. He was further charged with menacing and reckless endangerment at his arraignment and released on $50,000 bail until June 14, 2018. Under the bail conditions set by the judge, McGregor was allowed to travel without restriction. McGregor later pleaded no contest to a count of disorderly conduct and was ordered to perform 5 days of community service and attend anger management classes. Incident at UFC 229. On October 6, 2018, following his victory over Conor McGregor at UFC 229, Nurmagomedov jumped over the octagon fence and charged at McGregor's cornerman, Dillon Danis. Danis had reportedly shouted insults at Nurmagomedov. Soon afterwards, McGregor and Abubakar Nurmagomedov, Khabib's cousin, attempted to exit the octagon, but a scuffle broke out between them after McGregor punched Abubakar, who then punched him back. McGregor was then attacked from behind inside the octagon by 2 of Nurmagomedov's cornermen, Zubera Tukagov and Esad Amiragov. Tukagov, a Chechen fighter, was scheduled to fight on October 27, 2018 at UFC Fight Night, Volkan vs. Smith against Artem Lobov, the McGregor team member who was confronted by Nurmagomedov in April 2018. Tukagov was removed from the card on 17 October. Nurmagomedov's payment for the fight was withheld by the Nevada State Athletic Commission as a result, pending an investigation into his actions. He appeared at the post-fight interview and apologized to the NSAC, saying he was provoked by McGregor's trash talk and the UFC 223 bus incident, adding, "You cannot talk about religion. You cannot talk about nation. Guys, you cannot talk about these things. This is very important to me." He later posted on Instagram that he had warned McGregor that he would pay for everything he had done on October 6. Khabib's father, Abdulmanap, later said he did not hold a grudge towards McGregor and invited him to Russia to train. The NSAC filed a formal complaint against both Nurmagomedov and McGregor, and on October 24, the NSAC voted to approve a motion to release half of Nurmagomedov's $2 million fight payout immediately. Both Nurmagomedov and McGregor received indefinite bans until an official hearing would determine the disciplinary outcome of the post-fight brawl. On January 29, 2019, the NSAC announced a 9-month suspension for Nurmagomedov and a $500,000 fine. He was eligible to compete again on July 6, 2019. McGregor also received a 6-month suspension and $50,000 fine, while Abubakar Nurmagomedov and Zubera Tukagov each received 12-month suspensions and fines of $25,000. Khabib Nurmagomedov complained about the NSAC's decisions and stated he no longer wished to compete in the state of Nevada. Comments on ring girls. In August 2021, Nurmagomedov attracted controversy after an EFC press conference when asked by a reporter about why he does not have ring girls at his promotion. Khabib stated that he did not have an issue with how other promotions went about their operations, stating that they are welcome to do things however they wish, but that he did not see a need for them in his promotion. He said that he personally saw no point to ring girls and their function of parading round cards around before the start of each round. According to him, it is a pointless exercise that makes him uncomfortable. He was quoted as saying, "Look, I don't want to offend anyone. Ring girls are the most useless people in martial arts. What is their function? You can show that it is the second round on the screen. Do they develop a sport? Or they help people to see that it is the second round now? What are they doing? Tell me, please." Championships and accomplishments. Mixed martial arts record. Television viewership. Pay-per-view. Network television.